Hey, welcome everyone to the Drippy verse. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys had a great week last week. I and other members on my group, we had a fantastic week last week, and pretty much SPY behaved. And SPY kind of the price action was something which we were expecting last week. So overall, a pretty great week, and now let's talk about what I think upcoming week might happen, things to be aware of, things to pay attention to, and please keep in mind that any information I share here is for informational purpose and entertainment and understanding of stock market. It's not construed to be a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should be responsible for managing risk and taking profits. I'm here to support you guys, and hopefully, like with all the information I provide, you can become a good trader. You can become profitable, and hopefully, you will be able to create life changing wealth. So, without further ado, let's talk about SPY. What happened? What are we expecting? So, last couple of days, complete massacre in the market. After this kind of short rally here, the bear market, we had basically a big move down on SPY. We had move of almost, I would say, roughly around 7%, and then we kind of closed around 6%. So big move in last 3-4 days on SPY, and now we did lose the major trendline support, right? This was acting as a trendline support right here, so we kind of went long around this area. We closed our positions around this. We actually closed earlier. Market did go a little bit higher, and then we were short around this area, and then market started dumping. We were short Microsoft, short other names as well, and SPX along the way. Market gap down big right on the day of the CPI data release, right when we had this massive down day in the market, and that was a massacre day in the market. And then now, since then, we have been basically selling off. We did close, like kind of like green, I would say, not in terms of like actually closing green, but we did end up creating this kind of like close above the low of the day, right? So does that mean it's bullish? Not really. I mean, unless we break above this 387 level and fill this gap, things are still bearish, right? We could retest the daily 9 EMA. We are kind of so extended from it. So we could just chop around in this zone. I would say tomorrow and next week we do have some important economic data coming. For example, we have the home builders index on 10 a.m., which is not that important. But the next day, on Tuesday, we have housing starts and building permits, which are critical information, which could rattle the markets if the data is not good. Housing markets starting to look weak, so we'll see what happens. And then we have existing home sales, FOMC meeting is in minutes. So Wednesday is something to pay attention to. So until then, I'm kind of thinking market either sells off or is choppy. It could chop up, it could chop down, or it could, just. I don't really think we'll have a big move before the FOMC. If we do, something to pay attention would be on VIX, because if VIX starts to cool off after FOMC, right now it does not looks like VIX is consolidating and ready to break above this 28 level. And if it does, it could be bad for the market, right? We have been consolidating. VIX, instead of selling off, has been holding this level, and last couple of times we have seen when VIX starts to hold a level, things do not go well for SPY here. We held this level, rip. We held this level, rip. We held this level, rip. I mean, this time here when we did rip and then sold off. So and there's this time as well when we had consolidation and then we sold off. So we'll see. For now, I think that VIX is looking like it wants to make a move up. And also you need to pay attention to his VVIX. His volatility is starting to kind of, I think, is going to move up soon. It's been contracting. So when that happens, when volatility starts to increase, that's where the big move in the market happens, right? When you see massive volatile days up or down. So that's something you need to worry about, right? Because then if you are in a swing position, it can affect your position, and it can affect. So something to keep in mind next week is that I don't think it's a good idea, to for you guys to you know get into weekly swing plays. You could get into some earning plays, you could get into some risk only plays, but swinging something heavy size right before FOMC is not a good idea. Any position I'm swinging right now, it's only risk only or from profits from the last week. So just be aware of that this week might be choppy and premium burn could happen until reading into FOMC, and even after that could happen, right? So decent move in my opinion for the first 2 days at least is to sell premium. In that case, you could like sell, uh, you can create a debit spreads, you can create iron condors, and I do have a video on how to sell SPX contracts. So if you guys are interested in kind of selling premiums, you can watch that video. I'll link that video after this one. And yeah, so couple important levels I'm watching next week on SPY. First of all, I think I would like to see SPY hold 380, because if we lose 380 on SPY, I think we'll go and retest 360, and potentially, if we break 370, and if we break 370, there's not much support. We could go 360. Things can happen fast, and the weekly chart looks absolutely terrible on SPY. I mean, look at this. We basically had two inside days here, two inside weeks, and then this was an outside one, right? Not exactly inside, I would say, just like outside week, and then again a bigger outside bar. So it's like this one is inside, this one is inside this one, right? And this basically tells there's a lot of volatility in the market, right? And with the significant volume, and this volume could be because of OPEX, right? So but overall, I think this does not look bullish to me. We could retest 390. That's possible if we grind up. That's possible. And anything above 390, I don't know. I don't think so. If we do cross 390, I think then sure 400 retests could be in play. But that does not seem probable right now with that kind of sell off. The move I think might happen to the downside here, and it depends on what the rate hike is. Right now we are pricing in 75 basis points, so if we do have unusual rate hikes by Fed, things can get ugly and things can get nasty really really fast. So we'll know on Wednesday what happens. Right now this chart does not look bullish. This chart looks like it wants to sell off more. So these are so let's talk about SPX. What levels to watch on SPX then? Those are the key levels we want to pay attention to. Is in my opinion that yeah, of course the Friday's low is important level, but if we do break below this level, I would be looking at 3800 as next support. There is a minor gap here which can get filled. If we break below that, then we have 3750. And for the resistance, right, which levels do I think that we could potentially retrace and retest would be roughly around 3900 level. And then if we break 3900, then we could retest around 3935, which is a very very key area, and I think 3935 is a very important area. If we break above that, then it becomes 3960 and then 4000. But take it one day at a time. Right now I don't personally think that market, and if you look at the futures right now, futures currently are down. Last I checked, the futures were down. They are kind of right now they're up again on the daily. So we'll see how the market is, right? Like we could very well just sell off before the open. Hard to tell right now. And so those are the things to pay attention on the SPY side, SPX side, and same thing with QQQ here. If you look at the QQQ chart, again bearish looking chart here. We had this kind of like breakout, failed, and then went down, right? And overall I think in general some names are performing better than the others. So for example, Tesla was up 1% last week, while Qs were down. So does that mean Tesla is strong? Yes, that means that Tesla is relatively stronger. But does that mean Tesla will break out? Well, I think that we need to clear this 313 area for Tesla to kind of break out, and this area is somewhere Tesla can break out too. But with the whole market being bearish and overall theme right now for why Tesla is up is because of the renewable energy, right? If you like, Enphase is up, Enphase is doing well. Plug is up. Plug is doing well relatively compared to SPY and QQQ. Plug is above its daily 9 EMA. Plug is above its weekly 9 EMA as well. And then the same thing with other energy names like ChargePoint, right? So renewable energy is definitely hot right now in the market, but I do think that we might see a pullback next week. We'll know after the FOMC, because the reason why I'm saying that is because let's say that we have unusual rate hike, right? Let's say we have 75 basis rate hikes. What does that mean? That means that dollar will continue to rise more. If that happens, if dollar continues to move up, that affects commodities, that affects energy, that affects other names, and that will affect SPY itself, and that could be the catalyst to move these names which are stronger down, right? And if you look at the flow for Tesla, you can see that there has been a lot of bearish bets on Tesla, especially right around the close. If you see, we are looking at, maybe you can enable the calls as well, but the predominantly you can see here there's bearish flow, especially on this 270 put. You can even see that unusual whales alerted this, which was 270 put for 33 days to expiration, and a lot of bearish flow here. 300 put for next week, and this is not just with Tesla, this is with Apple as well. If you look at Apple flow here, I'm talking about massive put flow for 145 put, 33 days to expiration. You can see here, sweeps coming in. There are some bullish orders, of course. It's Apple, so Apple always get bullish order, but Apple is the most shorted stock right now in the market, and Microsoft as well. And if you look at the Apple chart does not look bullish either. Like, it did break this major support area, a major support, right? We did break below 150, we break below 152. So now if Apple breaks below 147 and 148 area, I think it has room to go down all the way till 135 to 136. So we could chop in this range for a while, or we could just see sell off after the FOMC. If we clear through 150, 155, I would say that Tesla, Apple is trying to reverse, right? But until then, it's below the 9 EMA on the daily, it's below the 21 EMA on the daily, below the key level, broke the major support. Does not look bullish, right? Like, for it to be bullish, it needs to retrace all the way till 155 and plus. And overall, if you look at this chart on Apple, there's a lot more room to go downside, folks. And Apple is right now the most shorted stock in the market, and that could lead to short squeeze as well. If FOMC comes out to be, let's say they say we are only doing 25 basis points, or we are skipping, this could be a massive short squeeze on Apple, right? Because it's the most shorted stock. I doubt that will happen. I think the Fed needs to be able to continue to meet their targets, to meet the trajectory. They need to be able to rate hikes. This CPI data, we actually saw increase in month over month rather than decrease in inflation, which kind of adds fuel to the fire for Fed. And these are some things, macro wise, not looking good. Another thing to pay very crucial thing to pay attention to is US China tariff wars, right? Which are creating a lot of issues for semiconductor names. You can see there is a massive sell off here on SMH, just absolutely destroyed here. It's almost near the last time we had the July lows, right? It's almost there, like much weaker than QQQ, much weaker than SPY. And if you look at Nvidia, it's just obliterated, like, destroyed. These names are just completely gone. A massive sell off here. So these could see short squeeze in the market if FOMC is like, more positive than expected by the market. So something to pay attention to. All the sectors kind of look bearish. Energy is kind of looking bullish right now. But again, keep in mind what I said, right? That if we have rate hikes and dollar continues to show strength, and everything will lose, right? Like commodities will start to show further sell off. I mean, look at this. Commodities just absolutely destroyed last week. Just complete destruction in last 3-4 days on commodities. Up down, up down. Look at this volatility. Finally broke this range. This is X steel name, and you can see here that there's a lot of volatility in the market as well. So uh, my final thoughts for this week is be very careful where you put your money in. Be very careful with the swings, especially because, as I said, like volatility increases, that means your swing can get a lot of swings in the price, right? That's what swing is, right? Options can get a lot of swings. Hedge your positions. Be careful in the market. Always protect your capital. If you feel uncertain about a trade, you don't have to get in. And if you're shorting, always remember that you should not exceed more than 5 to 10% of your capital on a short position, because you can see short squeezes in the market, right? And once the FOMC is done, then I think we might see VIX start to cool off. If the news is a little bit normal or better or normal or expected, then I think that's why I might see some kind of relief bounce. Until then, trend is to the downside. We have 30 minutes trend to the downside here. We have 15 minutes trend to the downside. So trend is your friend. Don't fight it. If the trend flips on 30 minutes, you start to see 9 cross above 21, then it's time to kind of go long, or SPY tries to hold 38, 36. Let's say 2-3 days in a row we are holding this, then it's time to go long. Until then, bias is to the short side, right? And this is where people can get caught up thinking, oh, it has to go up. No, it's not. Trend can continue down, right? Look at this last sell-off. We had massive move to the downside until we actually reversed from here to 9-10% move, right? Until we reverse. So from here to 10% move is roughly around 3,700, right? From that sell-off. So until then, we could just very well be just retesting the EMAs and selling off, right? So always remember that next Monday I'm expecting choppy price action. Tuesday also I'm expecting volatile price action. And then Wednesday I think we'll know, like Wednesday will be choppy as well. So first half of the week we have to protect the capital so that we can trade the next half of the week with confidence, with knowing what the outcome is rather than predicting it. So those are my thoughts for the week. Hope you guys bank. And last week was amazing because whatever I said on the Discord and pre-market, I always give updates on what my thoughts are for the day, my watch list for the day. So if you're a member on the Discord, I'll share my watch list additional pre-market. So be on the lookout for that. If you're not a member, please make sure to check it out. It's 100 a month. I'm on voice pretty much every day. I'm roughly 2 to 3 raids a day, high win rate. So like you guys know me by now, and you guys have been following for a while, so I don't need to really like sell myself. But I hope that you have a good, fantastic week ahead, and I will catch you on the other side.